This can be a typical chain for me, not necessarily always, but say, yeah, well, especially like in metal, I mean, like not always, but sometimes the larger signal chain works. It's really, there's no rules, and you really have to use your ears. It's whatever works. And what generally is going to work for me, you have a preamp with or without EQ. Sometimes I'll EQ a little bit after I'm moving the mics, once I'm positioned right. And then say I'm using 2 mics. And then those 2 preamps, mics, are going to go to another mixer that sums them. This is what I'm saying about committing. We're going to one track. So we need something that's going to sum them together to one output. So then we get the blend between the 2 mics. Once we get the mics that are good and we get the right sound, we're going to then find the relationship between the 2 mics and how much of, say I have on the mixer, I'm have the 414 up here, and that sounds great. And I'm blending in the 57, and I'm kind of like going up and down and just finding where it feels right. So summing mixer, and then a lot of times, I mean, in heavy music, it depends. But sometimes I'm going to a compressor like this Yuri 1176. Sometimes I'm not compressing. It's like compressor or not. It really depends. It all depends on what I'm feeling and what the sound's doing. And if I need more, pump or bounce out of the sound, maybe I will compress, but a little bit, not too crazy. But unless there's a clean sound that I want, really like that, like a jangly, like a weird compressed, like a lot of the Beatles stuff, and like those guitar sounds a lot are so compressed. So it's like you want to get that kind of like weird, like ring, like some of those, like the spaghetti western when you do those little rake things, and like that's a really compressed thing. So to a compressor, and maybe after the compressor, because the compressor sometimes will tend to suck out a little bit of the top or bottom in the sound. So maybe I want to go to another EQ, just a little bit on a little bit of makeup, like bring back a little bit of top end or bring back a little bit of bottom, and then we're going into the computer or tape, preferably tape. But in this day and age, I can't expect that. So, and what we have today is the same kind of thing. We've got multiple mics, which we'll go over in a minute. I've got a Summit mic preamp, no EQ, but it does have phase reverse like we were talking about. There's also a pad in case it's too loud, we can pad it down. Just input and output gain, and you can drive the preamp a little harder to get a different sound, and then just to get a nominal output, and then where we're going to go through that, from that we're going to go into what I said, like a summing mixer. In this case, just for basics demonstration, we're going into a Mackie 1640. From the mic preamps, we're going into just the line input on the mixer. So then we'll be able to get what we have on the preamps coming up on 2 faders, which we can then blend to an output. We would use the bus on the mixer and say assign it to bus 1. And then that means, so when we assign to bus 1, we pan it to the left, it's only going to 1, not 2. And then the bus is right here, and this is the output of this, which is in the back of bus 1. That's going to either straight to the Pro Tools or to a compressor and then to Pro Tools. I don't have a secondary analog EQ to do that, to show you how to do that, and maybe I can just demonstrate with a plugin after that. Preamp, Mackie 1642, right, Apogee Quartet, which is the interface to get into the computer. So that's our modified signal setup, our modified signal chain compared to what I usually use. Ben, what about you? You have a preference? Do you have a setup?
I have something similar to this at home, only I don't use a mixer. I don't have a Mackie mix or whatever. I'm going right into my my interface, and then mixing within my DAW. So.
Mm-hmm. But you don't have a way to get multiple mics?
Summing and stuff like that? No.
No.
Not at home.
Well,
I have a isolation cabinet.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
And also a universal audio unit as well. So.
But, you know, and I can show people that if you don't have, say, this is my best case scenario for the analog world of making the commitment here. But I will also show you how to, if you have just, say, 2 inputs, say you want 2 mics and you don't have a summing mixer, I'll show you how to do that in Pro Tools. So you can put each mic to a separate input, but then we're going to sum it inside the computer, and then bust that and print that to one track, still committing.
I've done that. I've done it like that, yeah.
And I'll show you how to do that as well. And there's no rules. Sometimes a larger signal chain works. And, this is the most basic flow chart you could ever want to hope for, but it's very simple, and to me, this is what I always go by. And this is just because this allows you just to use your instinct and just trust your gut. You start, is it good? Yes? All right, awesome. Let's start tracking. No? Try something else. It's literally, if life just boiled down to this, it would be really simple because it's yes or no. Is it good? Good? Awesome. No? All right. Well, how do we make it good?
All these things that are supposedly proven techniques are all just a bunch of mistakes that sounded good.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
Like they were like, oh, okay, no, yes, all right, now we're teaching that. No, yes, okay, that's the next thing we'll teach. So
it's the truth.
Yeah, that's
Steve,
evolution.
Somewhat of a tangent, but kind of on that signal flow concept.
Yeah.
On Twitter, M. Chambly2 is asking, could you talk about the difference of monitors that you use listening and how they color the sound being recorded?
Yeah, well, that's a whole other issue.
Is that simply why you like the live sound so that you can use your ears before the monitor section? Or, I don't know, can you explain your philosophy there?
No, maybe I'm not following the question.
Basically, the question is how do the monitors color the sound?
You mean the studio monitors?
Yeah, affect how you're hearing in the room.
Well, that's a very good point. Honestly, they all do. And that's another variable. And it's like there's so many variables in the recording thing. In the recording chain, monitors are a definite thing. But, I have 3 different pairs, well, 4 actually, but 2 that I keep up basically at all times. And one's basically for tracking and one's basically for mixing, but they're not exclusive to each other. I have old school Yamaha NS10s, and then I have a pair of Genelecs, which are expensive and not everybody can afford Genelecs. But honestly, the monitoring thing, unless you have really terrible monitors, the monitoring thing isn't as much of an issue because if you're used to it, if you know what they sound like, and you know what sounds good on those monitors, again, it's going back to put on, when you work in unfamiliar studios, and I hear people, I've had engineers talk about this where they're like, oh man, I got these tones. But I was in this control room and I wasn't familiar with the monitors and just, everything sounded weird when I left there. And it's like, well, why? You should have gotten used to those monitors. It's like very simple. If I go into another place, another studio that has unfamiliar monitors to me, I have the luxury of bringing them a lot of times with me to another place. But even if you don't, have CDs that or CDs, how about CDs that you've worked on? Mm-hmm. Play the CD, put it through the speakers, and listen to what the speakers are doing. Learn really quickly. It's like, oh wow, well I know what this record sounds like normally on my speakers. I know I'm so used to it, but wow, it's really bright in here. Okay, so you just know. Okay, the monitor's a little bright, so take that into consideration when you're dialing in your tones.
That's a fabulous suggestion. That A/B, because every set of speakers, every room is going to be different.
A/Bing is so key for anything.
Yeah, everyone's going to bring their mix into their car. They're going to put it on their iPod and listen to it in their earbuds. They're going to, that's really, at the end of the day, what's important.
Yeah, you shouldn't, really rely on making excuses for poor monitoring.
Yeah.
Sometimes I've had places where it's really, really terrible and it's really hard to get anything, but you get used to it, And, if you're really unsure, especially in the control room, it's like, okay, why don't you record 5 seconds of the sound, quickly make an MP3 of that, put it in your iPod and listen. You know, or put it on your iPhone, or whatever. You know,
Things
take it out of there
like
and
things
listen in your
like
car.
the cloud and stuff are great now because you can immediately, like, I'll bounce from my DAW, and I use Cubase, but I'll bounce from Cubase right into my Dropbox shared folder, and immediately it's on my phone.
It's on your phone.
Before
Same
I even
thing.
get to my
Right.
car, it's ready to be listened to on
I do it all the
multiple
time.
things. Like I can listen to it in all kinds on different computers and different rooms in my house, in my car.
Right. I do
Like,
it all the time with mixes.
immediately.
Like I'll check a mix, and,
And,
it's like I go to my Dropbox and I pull up my phone and go, what does
And
this mix
send the
sound
link
like?
to a friend
Right.
and listen to it when you get to their house and their thing. But I use my parents' old stereo speakers, and I haven't been able to throw them out because I'm so used to
Those
them.
things have been to the ringer. He
Yeah.
brought them out to. He
I brought
flew
them
them
with
out
me.
from Jersey when we were working on one of the
Yeah,
records.
and I'm used to them, you know. And if you know, like every time when they sound good on these things in my home studio, it's always too bassy in the car, and you're gonna know that. You're gonna start to
Right.
be aware of that kind of
Be
thing.
familiar with your
Yeah.
listening environment, so that becomes a control and that becomes a constant. The same thing. It's the same concept of the control. It's like
Yeah.
make that your control. So you learn these, know what it is, and then you can make your decisions based on that.
There's also a lot of technology now where you can that will EQ your monitors to a
Yeah,
flat
there's
scenario.
lots
So
of
even if your
things.
room isn't ideal, like you can get a flat microphone
Yep.
that will then record the nuances of
Yeah,
your
there's-
environment and will EQ your speakers to sound level and flat within any environment you're in. And so there's all kinds of ways you can adjust for those,
There are.
you know, deficits
It's,
or whatever.
It doesn't. It's not as much of a liability as it used to
It
be.
used to be, yeah.